Last week, we started a series of helpfully unhelpful comments that people have shared through the years of our healing journey, and some of them might resonate with you too. This is one that really stumped me for a while, and it was just feel your feelings. That was the solution that everyone was proposing, kind of like just love yourself. When you don't know how to innately do that, someone telling you to do that feels a little bit like the scene from Schitt's Creek where Moira's telling David to fold in the cheese, and he's getting frustrated with her because he doesn't know what that means. So I brought on my real partner, Andrew, to talk a little bit about what this has looked like in his own development journey from the masculine. I'll speak from the feminine side of things so that we can start to paint a bigger picture of what it means when people give this seemingly helpful but actually unhelpful comment.
I don't think I got feel your feelings myself. So this is probably more of a feminine one. What was the experience, or what was going on for you when they were saying things like feel your feelings?
This was around the time that I was starting this work with going to therapy, talk therapy, and I was really good at intellectualizing the scene. I was able to talk about it, but it felt a little disconnected in the experience the other person was having. So I could talk about something that would be otherwise really evocative or traumatic for them, but I could say it in a completely neutral way. Yeah.
Okay, so you're talking about keeping things at a surface level and not going down into the depths you're capable of. Interesting. I've had that quite a lot, and this would be a similar thing to the intensity trap sides of things.
Ooh.
And you've obviously gotten through it for yourself, but the thing that I found for myself was around I wasn't accepting my depth. And by not accepting my depth, I would act as if there's something wrong in it. Like I got to hide that part of me, this deepness piece, because when I would go into the depths, it would trigger others. And what I discovered and found was that the same sort of things around empathy, where I believe in brain neuroscience, they call it the mirror neurons, all this type of piece. When something's going on for one person, the other person can be experiencing it because of it. And when I go into depths, if they're not comfortable with those depths, it causes a problem. And what I end up having to do for myself is to actually be comfortable that I have a depth, but then meet people at their depths. Not to shift my depths, not to bring my depth up to their level, but rather just meet them on their depths and have mine still sitting there underneath it all, and being okay at those deeper depths.
Interesting. Was there a phrase that went along with that for you?
In your head.
Oh, okay.
So
yeah.
For my sides of things, I would be feeling through something, and I would bring it to somebody else, and what would end up happening is it would cause agitation in their being, and it would be as if their whole body didn't want to feel it, so they would go up to their head, and therefore associate that I'm being in my head. When what I eventually realized is that it's not that I'm being in my head, it's that whatever this thing is that I'm feeling, somebody else doesn't have the capacity to feel it, so they shut off from the rest of their body because of it. And it forces them into their head, so then they associate it as being I'm in my head. And they're like, it's simple, just stop doing that, just fold the cheese in.
So I guess a little different nuance from the feminine to the masculine, because I think for the feminine to be connected with the body is really important. That's why somatic work works really well. And for especially the synthesizer man, a lot of times the experience on the other side is that you're being in your head, you're overthinking, when the reality is you are probably in your body feeling your way through this. It's just that the other person can't meet you there.
Yeah.
Is that fair to say?
That's exactly the thing that I eventually realized is that whatever I'm talking about, the other person can't meet me there. And in order to shut it down, they just associated as being over-intellectualizing. When what's actually the case is, well, this is what I found for myself, was that there was a depth of nuance that I could perceive and feel that they weren't comfortable with until it had been fully conceptualized. And the somatic work, which was being able to be okay with whatever sensations that came up without jumping to a conclusion of what those sensations meant. Because this is where triggering and emotional reactions for me is that having a level of depth, if I'm going into those depths and it's triggering something, it's because I've had a sensation that I've associated, but I've done a misassociation. And therefore I'm only partly perceiving the sensation, not to fullness. And when I allow myself to be in the sensation and allow my nervous system to relax enough to feel it fully, that's when I get deeper awarenesses of what it's actually about. And some people like examples. So here's the example that really opened it up for me. I was listening to Simon Sinek where he spoke about, he was watching the Olympics. And he said that every reporter without fail would ask, "Are you nervous?" And every Olympian without fail would say, "No, I'm excited." And he stopped and looked at it and went, "Well, what's the difference between nervousness and excitement?" From a sensation level, as in a experienced sensation, they were exactly the same. Beating, your heart racing, sweats, hair stinging up on your body, anticipation of the future. Everything was the same except for one thing, the anticipation of the outcome, as in the conclusion of what this sensation was. For nervousness, there's an anticipation of a negative outcome. For excitement, there's an anticipation of a positive outcome. So same sensation, different associations, and being able to really feel through to what's actually the fullness of the sensation, what does it truly mean, is what deeper somatic work is about.
What's actually just occurring to me now is that for the networker, the experience may be a little different because they can articulate what they're saying. I think that's where the difference is between what we're talking about, because I could articulate what it was that I was feeling, but the depth at which I needed to feel it, I needed someone that was able to help me go there and open up some space. Otherwise, I was having to open it up for myself. It was a much slower process where you were able to be at the depths and you were looking for people to meet you there.
Yeah, I could feel a lot of different things all in together, and needed to take the time to pull them apart one at a time to go, what are these that are all collapsed in together? And being able to label them was a lot harder for me. Whereas it sounds like for you could label them, but didn't necessarily have the deeper experience of them, or you're saying that you needed someone to hold space or containment to be able to experience those. And if someone didn't meet you at the level that allowed you to drop to that in safety, so having creating a safe space for you to feel through it without somebody else presupposing a meaning, then you couldn't experience it either.
Yeah. Interesting.
So this really goes into co-regulation then.
Yeah, I was going to say what really shifted for me was when I started working with a coach that was one of my mentors, Leah Lake, who I refer to often on my podcast because I think she just really opened up a lot of things for me, was to just have this space that let me drop into things and realize that it wasn't that I was wrong. It was this new level of self-acceptance because there was a space that allowed me to drop in with all the information that I had about my feelings and actually experience them in my body, for that to kind of like come back together. And it was that ability to have someone in the space with you, creating a bigger space than what I had experienced in my nervous system at that point. But it was normal for her. And so she was able to just be with me in it and not make it mean anything. And that sped up the process for me exponentially. What helped you?
What helped me was me creating that space for myself, because I found my depths. I wasn't able to find anyone that could match my depths they could do it on one or two areas. But if I had multiple things in together, I would usually overwhelm people. So I end up having to create safe space for myself and just be with the sensations. As I said, I have had times where someone's been able to hold space for me because they've had a depth that could facilitate whatever it was I was going through. But for the much deeper stuff, I had to do for myself. And this is actually why we've enhanced the rebranding, the course, the Rebrand, because there's much deeper space that both you and I can hold now. And co-regulation is a new concept, a new term that's come out recently around, it's usually talked about to do with parenting. But I believe it's coming more and more into the personal development self-help sides of things, because our nervous system has been trained to respond a certain way. And this is where I was talking before around when emotions are coming up, a sensation happens and our nervous system has been trained to respond a certain way. And the way to change it is what we're pointing at, is one, to sit with the sensation to complete fullness. So to regulate yourself, self-assurance, self-soothing. Or the other one is to have somebody else who can co-regulate. So someone who can, as the intensity, as all the feelings are coming around between and within the space, they can sit within a deeper sense of calmness that allows your nervous system to use their nervous system to recalibrate itself. And this is what co-regulation is, from my understanding anyway.
Yeah, it is about kind of like ironing out or neutralizing some of those intense ups and downs that your nervous system experiences, so that it can be a little bit more smooth, as well as not just going up and staying high or dropping down and staying low. You want to have this kind of nice up and down sine wave of activation and deactivation. That's going to be a healthy, expansive nervous system.
This is also where you get the differences between having a skill and then embodying that skill. Because there's a difference where you might learn the skill and know how to technically do it, but being able to embody it requires your perception to change to being able to read and navigate a space. And therefore what happens is your body and your being will automatically start to use those skills in a fluid way. So example of this, I like to use driving. Learning clutch control on a car, a manual car, is a skill. That's all well and good. And you might be able to technically do clutch control, but still find it extremely difficult to drive a manual car until you learn how to shift your perception to perceiving traffic and how to navigate traffic. Because once that's happened, now you're not having to split your awareness between the technical thing of doing clutch control and monitoring traffic and your positioning. Because once you now perceive traffic and perceive your place in it, you can allow your body to do the things it needs to do. And this is what embodiment is. So this is where a lot of people will get stuck where they'll learn a skill and they're like, but I've learnt the skill. And they go to friends and they share with their friends about the skill, and the friend's like, yeah, you got the skill. Or they speak to someone in a coaching sides of things and they're like, yep, you've technically got the skill. But what's missing is the shift in perception that allows it to be embodied and become a skill that you don't have to think about, you just perceive and do. So again, like driving, like riding a bike, you can speak about balance all you want in the technical realms of balance, but once you've got balance, you've got balance.
Oh, that's so good, because that is exactly what it was. All these skills that I had been gathering, I was able to feel my feelings at that. So it never made sense when people kept saying, like, you just need to feel your feelings. What I needed was for someone to open up that space and allow it to connect, to kind of like widen, you always say, the aperture of your mind. To be able to see how this skill fits in and why maybe it wasn't necessarily naturally outflowing, even though I had learned it, I was practicing it, why it was still not quite feeling natural for me. It was feeling a little bit like forced, or like I was having to really put effort into it. And it was exactly that example of I was having to pay attention to the clutch and watch the car in front of me and make sure that I was shifting correctly and steering and maybe taking a sip of water, like all the things instead of it just being a fluid process.
And probably also what didn't help was if you were trying to work with someone that had all the technical skills and were giving it to you, but didn't have the depth that you were able to perceive, then you were trying to mirror, like come to their depths of what it was. You go any further and agitation comes up in it all and it doesn't actually create a safe space.
Yeah.
Whereas working with someone who can go to your depths, and especially if they can go further than your depths, means that regardless of what comes up for you, they're able to just sit and keep the space feeling comfortable and calm, and aren't jumping to conclusions, aren't being agitated in their own nervous system. Because especially from the feminine, an agitated nervous system around them will automatically agitate them.
Yes. When we talk about safety and emotional safety, that is viscerally the thing that we're looking for. And I don't know how else to connect that dot except to say, like, when you're agitated, I will pick up on it just unconsciously and register it as something to be paying attention to.
So then when you're trying to go through your own stuff, if you've got someone who you're working with that is agitated in their own right, you're now having to dig through multiple levels of agitation, which doesn't help the situation.
Because we've talked about this in another video as well of, is it my agitation or am I picking up on yours that's making me feel a little bit wobbly now as well? And I have this like split awareness of I need to pay attention and take care of you and make sure that you're either okay or that I'm not unsafe in your presence. Either way, it's kind of splitting your awareness again. And what you're saying is when someone drops in and holds that space, it allows you to bring all of your awareness where it needs to be so that the system naturally starts to digest what you're needing to do and you fluidly take that action.
Interesting. I think there's a couple of things we can really, points we can make with this now. So if we have a look at it, one, as what do you need for yourself? If you're finding that people are saying you're in your head, feel your feelings, giving these unhelpfully advice, we're like, I am. Then what's actually coming as a bit of feedback is that you're not living into your depth. You're not owning your depth. And this is where the intensity trap comes into place. The reason for the intensity trap is that as synthesizers, as executional men, we're able to sit within a depth to allow us to perceive and feel through situations, scenarios, circumstances, multiple contexts at the same time. Now, when we get others that can't do that, and we start going through those spaces, there's different feelings and energies that all start to bubble around in the process. And it has other people feel uncomfortable if they're not realizing what's going on. And therefore, what happens is we start to associate their discomfort that we're doing something wrong. So we stop going into the depths. And now there's a side of us that we're suppressing, which is what we naturally want to bring forwards, but we have to feel like we hide it. This is where shame starts to come in. So now when we go on a date and we finally have a connection, we relax. And in that relaxation, what happens is that depth naturally starts to come back through. And now you've got a woman that's gone from being able to feel you at a certain depth and she feels comfortable here because it's either her depth or a little bit more and something she wants to explore. Then you relax and open it up and it's like a whole chasm's opened up for her. She's like, oh, whoa, what's happened? And it's an intensity that shows up for her. How to solve for the intensity trap is to start being comfortable with your depth and understand that not everyone's going to match you. But the more that you're able to be comfortable with your own depths, the more that these triggers, these emotions are going to start to dissipate. Now, unfortunately, it means that you're going to have to go through those triggers and emotions to get to those depths. And if you're not able to create a safe space for yourself, this is where something like a one-on-one deeper emotions-based stuff, the Rebrand course, might be helpful for you. Because that way we can actually co-regulate with you and help you through the things that are preventing you from going to those depths that you're naturally capable of. When you get comfortable with those depths, you're then not trying to get it from somebody else. And this is what limerence is, or one of the forms of limerence anyway, which is that we see something in somebody else that is actually something we're capable of doing. And it's like our body starts to resonate with it going, this is what you're looking for. But then we associate it as we have to get it from the other person instead of recognizing it as, oh, because I see it in them, I'm capable of it too. And being able to then own that and work through it. So this is really advanced sides of this type of work. But getting back to the point of being able to own that for ourselves means that from an intensity side, because we're comfortable in who we are, we're able to match people where they're at without hiding our own intensity in the process. Just being able to sit in ours and create a space within ours that they're able to come further in to theirs. And this is containment. Now, the second side of it, there was something you said before. Where's the thread that you were looking at?
Well, I think borrowing someone's nervous system and being able to calibrate yourself to something that's normal for them. Because it feels normal for them, they're not going to get activated by the fact that you're struggling or having a moment of wobble.
Oh, no, I know where it was now. So the second side was around being able to understand what's actually going on for a woman during a date as well. So if you understand that when these emotions are coming up, that it is a misassociation of sensations, then and being able to recognize that both ourselves and a woman's trying to work out of, well, what I'm feeling right now, is it mine, is it theirs, is there something else going on around here in the moment? Some of their reactions aren't because they're judging you, but rather they're trying to go through the exact same thing that you're trying to go through yourself. And where you're questioning it, is it me, she's doing the same. So then when she pulls away and you start associating a meaning of that, of going, she's pulling away because there's something wrong with me. She sees the thing that's wrong with me. I have to hide that even harder now. That's an unverified assumption.
And it will snag you every time. That's one that a lot of clients have shared, that this is a snag when they're on dates, that it feels like now they're putting this microscope on themselves. And it almost is like that all that intensity is now redirected at them. Yeah.
So she's now also going through the same experience as you. So you put the microscope back on her and she goes and does the same thing, trying to feel through it. And now you've got this spiral between the two of you, and she's pulled further away to go, all right, I have to go and own something about myself. And in the process has realized that there's something here for her. And we're talking about empowered women here, because the types of men that come to this channel are highly empowered. It's just embodied is usually the areas that the triggering comes in. And it's because of this misassociation of meaning is the part that you're getting tripped up on. Because you say it on a regular basis, the whole the nice guy is almost there.
Oh, yeah.
And it's why I don't like the nice guy term, because it's putting a negative association on being nice, when what it really is you're a bleeding heart. And what I mean by that is, as a bleeding heart, we're allowing too much into our heart space, and it makes it extremely hard to feel through and be with the things that really matter to us. So therefore, when we go to show up with someone who's looking for the things that matter to us so she can associate with them and to us through them, she can't experience them because there's so much noise in there, so much turbulence.
Yeah, which is ironically the only issue between him getting the type of relationship that he wants. She wants exactly what you are offering. It's just surrounded by too much noise and static for her to be able to hear what it is that you're inviting her into, which is what we do in the Rebrand, is help clear that out so that your kind of channel is clean and open for her to be able to see how she fits in what you're offering.
And there's two challenges, actually. There's that,
okay.
and there's that what women ask for, they want, but what the words that they use mean something else to men.
Yeah.
And therefore, what you now have is, this is where a lot of men will turn around and say, women don't even know what they're asking for. No, they do. They just don't know how to get it because they're not a man to give it. So what they need from a man is for him to hold a certain space and what she calls as being present. Well, her experience of that is an outlook. It's what she sees, like she has a feeling, and from an outlook perspective, this is what she needs. Now, being a man who's sitting in that position, I have to find what that means that creates that experience for her. And this has been the challenge over the years of women want containment, they want presence, they want a man on purpose, all these types of things. And then when we show up saying, well, I am doing that, yes, that's the case, but what's usually missing is the one, not going down to the deeper sides of things, and two, the slight misunderstandings of what she's saying and what she's meaning. Because I hear what she says, I assume her meaning, and my assumptions are off. This is just pure miscommunication in anything. It happens in any environment. Happens in business as well. Someone will say something, the other person that's listening assumes a meaning, and then will respond to their assumed meaning, not what the person may have actually meant. And so I can hear people even now putting comments on, oh, just say what you mean. Well, how many times has anybody said something that's been misunderstood? It's because there is nuance that doesn't always come across unless you've got a level of rapport and deeper understanding, contextual understanding, in order to work with.
Yeah, I'm so glad that you said that, because this feels like a constant battle that I hear in the comments, especially on the podcast, is either that women don't know what they want, therefore we're giving it to them and it's not what they actually are wanting, or if they could just be more clear in what it is that they're wanting, we would be happy to provide it. When the reality is, she keeps saying it, it's the fold in the cheese, maybe from her too. I want a man with presence, give me presence, hold the space for me. And he's like, I'm folding in the cheese, I don't know what that means. Like this? Or how do we fold in cheese?
Yeah,
Can you
and
give some context?
Well, let me talk into a little bit of areas that I see with that as well. A woman may be asking for what she wants, but not realizing she's asking, how do I put it? If she's at a certain level of depth and you're at a deeper level, you actually doing what she's asking for would actually trigger her, because you're not a match for her.
Ooh.
There's no compatibility with that. Whereas if you found if the woman was a match at your depth and you start showing up that way, she'd be like, yes, that. So this is where there's all these little nuances that have to be navigated. And unfortunately, there hasn't been enough language around these nuances in order to navigate them as cleanly in the past. And what's usually shown up then is conversations about, you're not being masculine enough, you're too feminine, she doesn't know what she wants. All of these justifications come around because the reference point that meaning is derived from hasn't been in alignment with what the nuance and depth that you need. So all these other people that have had relationships and are just like, fold in the cheese. It's because they've gotten it to the depth they need, not to the depth you need.
Ooh, such a great point.
The vast majority of people that come to this channel are highly deep people. So this is where their struggle has been, is because they've needed more nuance in order to know how to align to that. And another one that's probably come up is you're too sensitive. Now, here's an interesting thing. If we have a look at a sensitive instrument, not trying to turn ourselves into an object, But a highly sensitive instrument is a highly precise instrument. When you have a look at different instruments for measuring things, if you want a precise measurement, it has to be highly sensitive. So there's a level of precision that can come with your depths when you learn how to be with those depths and own those depths.
So good.
And when you get to that place, that's when all of this will start to drop and land in a way that actually makes sense to you, because it'll be in alignment with your deeper senses.
I love that, because as you said, I've been saying this for a long time, that the nice guys are the most qualified men in the dating market. There's a couple pieces that are just needing to be tweaked, and it is owning the depth that you're needing and learning how to really utilize the precision that you bring to the relationship so that it does harmonize with the right person.
And again, I can hear people in the comments saying, that's easy for you to say. No, it's not. It's extreme. It's simple, but it's not easy. When I say it's simple, that's what needs to be done. It's the whole just fold the cheese in type thing. But the level of nuance required to do that does require being able to sit with and be with the different sensations that are coming through and being able to tease them out. Because what's happening is a collapse where when we're doing the association, we see it one way. And what a distinction does is a distinction allows us to now see it in more than one way. And in the process, we can now reorganize our sensations, our sense of self, based on applying those distinctions and being able to see something you hadn't seen before. So this is where we start getting space in our nervous system. So there's multiple, 3 different areas to get space on. You've got distinction, which is an auditory-based thing. This is what NLP, or neuro-linguistic programming, is based on. And then you get the visual sides, which is what constellations is about. Then you get the feeling sides, and this is what somatics is about. So using those 3 realms allows us to have more space in our nervous system to be able to perceive the deeper sensations that are coming through, or what we call energy. And being able to be with the dynamics and the fluidness of them. In the process, our senses actually stop screaming at us and actually start to make sense, because there's enough space within them for this fluidity to happen. Because imagine having a frequency, as an example, and it's a high frequency. In order to tone that out, you need to have enough space for that frequency to exist. And if you condense it, it ends up going like this and scream, and you have your screaming feeling. By creating more space, it allows for it to sit within its realms. And this is why we keep talking about somatics, why we keep, when we're working with clients, there is a somatic work, there is constellations that we do, there's distinctions that get applied and looked through. And this is so that we can help create the space within the nervous system. Now, as we're saying, sometimes what's also needed is co-regulation, where you have something that's come up and you're able to talk it through with someone else to be able to see it a different way, to be able to see what distinctions need to be applied and how, and also to tease out the feelings that are there, because there might be a few collapsed together.
I love that. And just since you've kind of explained how the rebrand works, all of those elements are how we do this. We've talked a little bit about like what causes this, just feel your feelings, like why you're being told that and what to do about it, and how the rebrand works. How would people who are maybe new to this channel and new to the concept of the rebrand, how would the rebrand directly impact them? What would they expect if they were stepping into that?
Okay. Let's go with a couple of areas you can look at if this is your first video. One is, you'll notice over the last, say, 2 months that the content on this channel has changed, where we start going into synthesizer and networker, which was also talked about as executional experiential. So these are distinctions that help to see how both men and women perceive differently. So start with that content. There's also the different life cycles. There's the 5 stages of masculine development, which is the internal work required in order to go to the depths that are needed. And there's the stages within that. Then there is what does that look like externally? Mm-hmm. And we had the relationship as a goal versus shared life as a goal. And what does that look like as an outlook for yourself based on what you're dealing with? Mm-hmm. So if you're taking the position as relationship as a goal and you've got too much of a focus on relationship, so basically you're making your partner your purpose, mm-hmm. is another way to put it, then it will show up a certain way. Mm-hmm. And look at those videos. If you come at it from a perspective of, I've got a life that I'm building, which is a bigger picture, that life becomes the container that women are after. Mm-hmm. So if you're not happy with your life and you go and make relationship your goal, you're basically saying that you're wanting someone to rescue you. You're being a damsel in distress, is what it comes down to. Mm-hmm. And by shifting into having a shared life as a goal, so being able to build out a life that you just really enjoy and you want to share it with someone, then that's a whole different way of being. That's what women are after. So when they ask for a man with presence, when they ask for a man on purpose, what they're really meaning is she wants a man that's up to something and that has space for her to feel like she can be a part of it and contribute and work with you on building out that ideal future, the worthy ideal that you're up for, and mm-hmm. having a great shared experience. Mm-hmm. So those are the first 2 things to look at. From there, if you're still having troubles to apply these distinctions, or you're feeling like you can't let go of the relationship as a goal piece, then what's probably needed is the whole notion of co-regulation. Mm-hmm. So this is where we're able to dig into what's happening in your life, situations, scenarios, circumstances, context, everything. Mm-hmm. Not in a we're going to go digging through your life piece, but rather you have something coming up. We can ask more quality questions mm-hmm. that help get to the point. And then in the process, unpack it with you mm-hmm. so that it allows the space for your nervous system to drop in and have space. And you go, oh, that's starting to make sense. Mm-hmm. This is the thing that I didn't realize. Mm-hmm. And now you see something you can't unsee. Mm-hmm. This is truly what transformation is about, is being able to see something you can't unsee, but then being able to integrate that point. Because now that you see it, you start to see the reasons why things don't work. Mm-hmm. And the integration then is around shifting the things aren't working, because then you can also see the times where it has worked, and now you can see why. Mm-hmm. So as a visceral example of this, if you haven't seen this before, do a Google search for arrow in the FedEx symbol. Mm. And what will come up is that a lot of people don't see that there's an arrow there. And when you now see that arrow, you cannot unsee that arrow. So what happens is every time you see the FedEx logo from now on, you either have to force yourself to look at the words, the arrow, or both at the same time. And this is what transformation is about. Being able to see something that's always been there, and now having to make a choice about how you look at it in relation to what you're up for.
Mm. I love that. You are so good at being distinct in your wording, and I think that is so helpful for people, especially when they are looking for depth in their relationship. It's often that they're looking for depth within themselves that they haven't given themselves permission or haven't had permission to go to. Mm. And you do require that nuance and that level of distinction. So I always appreciate that you bring such clarity in your language and how you use it. Mm. And I love that your definition for men. I started this channel thinking, oh, I'm probably translating some things, or that was my intention, was to translate some things that women were saying in a way that men might be able to understand it better, or at least not feel judged about it. And you come in and you're able to add even more depth and nuance to that, of this is what a woman is asking for when she's saying, I want a man who's on purpose. I want a man who's able to provide presence. She's saying this, and it might sound like fold in the cheese because you think you're doing it. This is what she's intending, or this is how it actually feels when you're doing it, to the standard at which she will experience it.
Yeah. What really helps is the fact that you and I do really accept and appreciate our own depths. And therefore that's what our relationship's built on, is how do we continue to explore those depths together. But I would have never been able to have this type of relationship with Courtney if I never accepted my own depths. And started to realize that other people just couldn't meet me. I even have my own family where I had to realize that the depths that I'm capable of, that they may be capable of it, but they don't have the capacity right now, or they just don't have the capability at all. But that doesn't mean that they don't care about me, that they don't want the best for me. They just can't give me what I'm looking for. And that was the case with my past relationship, my previous marriage, where she couldn't give me what I needed because her depth, even though she was a very deep woman herself, just wasn't the levels that I needed. And again, I had to start being okay with who I am. And that's another very unhelpfully helpful thing. Just be okay with who you are. Well, until we're clear as to what it is that we need to be comfortable with, it becomes very hard to. So depth is the thing, is what I'm pointing at.
That feels like a whole other segment. Just be yourself. Cool.
Yeah, that's a whole nother one where it's being okay with those depths is what people mean on that one. But again, we can unpack that one. When it comes to here's another one. There's a few people that keep asking for examples. The problem is that this content is so nuanced and this language is so new that there's a lot of contextual things that have to be understood before I can give a very clear example on a video like this. However, jump onto a discovery call, because we can go through your life and your situation and use that as the example and apply one of these distinctions so that you can start to get the thing that you're looking for. Because I know that there is quite a few people that when they get an example, it makes sense to them. They start to see it and understand it. But yeah, because this stuff is so nuanced and there's a bunch of contexts that are needed in order to be able to give such a clear example, we're building out these videos in order to give a lot of that context. So that's coming. And for you right now, because you want something, you want one of these, this type of relationship where it's a deeper connection, you can wait if you want and continue to feel the pain you're feeling, or you can do a different action. Jump on a discovery call, let's have a chat, and that way I can attune these distinctions to you using your life as the example.
What better example?
Yeah, it's actionable then.
That's what everyone's actually saying when they say, I want an example. I want to figure out how to apply this to my scenario.
So just give me your scenario and I'll help you change it.
Bring it to us. And then if you do need more support from there, we would be happy to invite you into the Rebrand one-on-one support level. But the discovery call really is the first step. If you're looking for more depth in this conversation, bring us your examples. We want to have those type of conversations and really help you see how these distinctions might be beneficial for you to continue applying in your own life to get where you want to go.
Because if the rebrand's not right for you, we're not going to sell it to you. If we're looking at what's going on for you and say, well, just go and watch this video, that might give you what you're after. That's what we're going to tell you. Or it might be actually rooted, might be a course to do, or here's a book, go and read it. We really are about continuing this conversation, but we're now at the pointy end of the conversation where doing it just in the actual YouTube comments is great, but it's a public setting. And some of the things that need to be gone into are more personal. So therefore, jump on a discovery call, let's have a chat.
Yeah. I love that. Anything else you want for them to know?
Heaps, but that's probably another video.
That's it for today. All right. Well, let us know in the comments if this resonated with you. I love hearing when things resonate, when things really land, what specifically stood out. And if you do want some extra support or to continue the conversation and take it a level deeper, set up a discovery call. I'll put all the links to the videos that Andrew was mentioning kind of in order of what would be a helpful step process for you to go back and watch some of those, as well as how you could set up a discovery call if you want to continue the conversation with us and take it a little bit deeper. And then any information that you need to continue from there, you can provide on the discovery call. So I hope this was helpful for you guys as always, and we will see you guys next time.